Adi and I'm in charge of SEO marketing at Vectornator. I know what you're thinking. Why am I doing this tutorial then? Okay, so it's because I'm also an artist. I'm also the front-end developer, and I'm a sculptor, a poet, philanthropist, and a light worker. Only 4 of those are correct, by the way. In this tutorial, I drew a papercut illustration of a mermaid. I hope you like it. I started off with Procreate, drawing the basic shape. It's important to define the dynamic shape so it be interesting. I added more details later, defined the focal point a bit more, and then I tried to fill in the gaps. Be mindful that all the areas need to be touched, because it's allegedly a cutout paper, so everything is connected. With each layer from now on, I just fill in the gaps. This is the last layer, where I really just fill in the last remaining negative space with some more marine creatures. I also filled these layers with color. Now we need to move everything into Vectornator. So all I do is just copy it and move it to a new canvas. Now I can show you a little cheat sheet. I'm using auto trace in sketch mode to quickly turn it into vectors, just like this. Then I color it with peachy cardboard color. Later in the video we show how to do it in a more detailed way. Okay, now the most detailed layer, I'm tracing it from scratch to show you that you can also do it this way. I started off with the background. Then I added my sketch. I prefer having the background transparent so I can see the sketch underneath. Now I create a new layer for the vectors. I lock everything else and then I use the pen tool. All I'm going to do now is to trace out the cutouts. Wait, I don't want it in full opacity. The nice thing is that if you adjust the opacity of the entire layer, everything I draw here will be transparent. You can see I just step and drag it in the line of action. When there is a really deep curve or a sharp corner, I just step the node again before I continue the path. You can see it especially here when I'm tracing the mermaid's hair. I know the pen tool is really intimidating at first, but you just have to understand that the pen tool never intended to be so difficult. It just had a bad reputation and people got scared of it. It's really useful when you learn how to control it. Oh my god, I did a really big shape here. I'm so proud of myself. But don't worry about big shapes, because you can always stop and start again. And don't forget that the good thing about the node tool, and in general with vectors, that you can always correct your mistakes. Okay, so I'm really just tracing every single shape I see in the sketch. Every little cutout, every little hole. They just give a lot of life to the composition. God is in the details. And while I'm doing this, let me tell you a bit about myself. I come from Israel, there I studied visual communication. After that I moved to Berlin, and here I learned front-end development. I really like coding, but it's got pretty boring after a while and not creative enough, so I moved to much more creative occupation. SEO marketing developer. And now I'm totally fulfilling myself as an artist. Okay, now back to what we came here for, the mermaid. I thought it would be fun to give her a seashell bra, just like the Little Mermaid, because it's pretty and also because I think YouTube would censor it otherwise. I'm making these lines using pen tool. Yes, I could use a line tool to do it, but I wanted to make it a bit rougher and not that perfect. I think it looks better this way. I actually used to do it in paper as well, but it's so much easier using an iPad. I love it. Okay, we're done. Let's combine everything now. And if you notice, we actually trace the negative spaces of the paper cut itself. So let's cut it out from the background using a Boolean operator. This will actually exclude, just like magic. Okay, now we bring back the fish layers that we made before and all the extra layers that give dimension to the illustration. Okay, now to the fun part. Let's go to the auto trace panel. Select sketch mode, leave ignore white turned on and hit it. Now let's change the color to something a bit more earth toned. Alright, last layer. So you can see I pre-organized the layers and imported them from the photo gallery, but you can also copy-paste it from Procreate or any other tool you use. I really like how the other layer just peeped through the cutouts we created in the first layer. It's really beautiful. Of course, we don't like the white background, so let's give it a creamy color. You can see that by moving from really dark colors to brighter colors, we create a mysterious perspective here. And now to create the paper texture. You can see I moved to the Unsplash tab to look for a paper image we can use to blend it in with the layers. Try to choose a paper with relatively rough texture, like for example watercolor paper. I rotate the paper so it fits the orientation of the canvas. I drag the picture above the last layer and select both. You can just swipe to the right to do so. Now I'm applying the blend mode. I will choose overlay, which is perfect for this exact situation. Lower the opacity and here we go. Look like paper. Alright, now I'm going to do the same for all the other layers. For the last layer, I copy-paste the image of the layer instead of bring it again from Unsplash. I could do it actually before, but it's okay. So you notice that overlay may change the colors a bit, so make sure to adjust the colors to the colors that you want to have. Now last detail, I promise, we need to add shadow to create a more 3D effect. Choose on the layer you want and go to the Style tab and turn on the toggle. Now I'm playing a bit with the setting to make it look more realistic. You can ignore all the numbers and everything, we'll write it below, so don't worry about it. Just a nice tip that if you want to create a more realistic shadowing, the closer the layer is to the background, the sharper the shadow is gonna be. In the last part, I played a bit with the colors, changing them back and forth because I was not quite happy with it, but we saved it the time and cut it in the editing, so you can see the end result now. Yay, we're done! I hope you like my first tutorial. I plan on doing much more. I am thinking to do maybe the next tutorial a comic strip because I like to do comic as well. So let me know what you think in the comment below. And as they always say on YouTube, like and subscribe, please. And I really appreciate positive reinforcement, so please, positive energy. See ya, bye!